All right. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to another video. Today, you can tell we are not at home today. We are still traveling. So, thank you for bearing with us. I know it's a little bit later than we usually come in. So, thank you for supporting. Thanks for jumping in. Today, we're going to get into a variety of topics. But this first topic, we're going to talk about Tesla leasing. We're going to go through all the different things that you might not be aware about when you are leasing your Tesla. And then we'll get into, should you lease your Tesla? I feel like a lot of people ask me, should they lease their Tesla? Do you even get the 7,500 federal tax credit? Do you even get some of these great, fantastic state incentives that you might be able to get as well? And so there's a lot of questions that you could be wondering if you're going to be leasing your Tesla. So we're going to get into that, plus a variety of topics. But before we do that, this is where we usually run my intro. But my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it. But basically, just getting the best deal on Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And today's video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link down below in the description. If you want to support the channel and get access to the ultimate Tesla buying guide out there with all the best interest rates for financing your Tesla. So definitely check it out. Patreon link down below in the description. But let us get into it. This was inspired. I was I was definitely inspired by this post, which, one second here, I was inspired by this post right here. Shout out to that EV girl on X, or formerly Twitter. Lease a Tesla and want to buy it at the end of the term. Not only are there strict return limitations, there are many other things that you need to know about the lease program. And of course, this is in regards to when you're leasing a Tesla, or when you're leasing other vehicles, other electric vehicles out there, you can actually buy it out at the end of the term. But unfortunately, with Tesla, they kind of keep it pretty locked up. Model 3, Model Y, you are unfortunately not allowed to buy it out at the end of the term. Model S and Model X, potentially depending on when you actually leased it, you can actually buy it out. But unfortunately, the Model S and the Model X, or the Model Y and the Model 3, you cannot buy it out. So really, all that money you're paying down on a lease, because leasing is just another form of financing a vehicle. You're still paying down an amount that you actually owe, but you're not allowed to take advantage of that and buy it out at the end of this. So really, anytime you're buying a Model 3 or Model Y in terms of leasing it, you cannot take advantage of the lower payoffs, and you cannot take advantage of that equity at the end of the lease. So it's really not beneficial to do that. Taking a look at this post, you can see there's a lot of different strict restrictions on it. Tesla Model 3 and Model Y are not eligible for purchase at the end, regardless of the delivery date. Tesla leasing isn't available for applicants in all states. Leasing is not available for a used vehicle. That makes sense. Business only, you cannot lease it as well, according to this post. Leased vehicles are solely for personal use and cannot be used for transportation or rental purposes like Turo or anything like that. So just be aware of that as well. But if you're looking for a financing company to actually finance the vehicle, or use the vehicle financing for a get around business, that's where financing partners like Tenet come into play. Check out Tenet down below in the description, because they actually allow you to use the financing for your get around business. I don't know too much on the details about it, but I did see a press release where they partner with Get Around to do that if you're interested in doing that. So definitely check out Tenet down below in the description. And thank you to Tenet for sponsoring this video and a bunch of videos this month. Of course, you must list Tesla Lease Trust as a lien holder. You must meet the insurance requirements. Those are pretty standard stuff on top of that. And then if you have more than 13 payments left on the lease, you may be eligible to transfer your lease to a credit approved assignee. Transfer fees and applicable state egg taxes will apply. Of course, this is if you have a current lease, if you want to get out of it, you can do that by transferring it to a different company. So definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on it. Let me know what you're thinking in terms of, do I even recommend leasing? Kinda. Of course, if you're looking for the lowest monthly payment, leasing will generate a lower payment than financing. But of course, then I would rather you go through Tenet or any of these other financing companies, because then you're going to get a lower monthly payment, still take advantage of the federal tax credit, still take advantage of any sort of state incentives out there on top of that. But the one thing with when you lease through a Tesla or lease through Tesla, you do not get to take advantage of the 7,500 federal tax credit. So it is not worth it really to do that with Tesla. Tesla basically gets to own that 7,500 federal tax credit, and you do not be able to get any advantage of that at all. So is it worth it to lease? Really, it's only worth it if you are a one particular type of buyer. And usually people think I'm going to say like a business owner or something like that. Well, really, it's neither of that. If you are interested in the Tesla Highland Model 3 and you do not, or if you need a vehicle now, that is why you should actually lease it. Maybe do a 2-year or 3-year lease. Wait until the Highland actually comes out and then just sell the vehicle or turn it back into Tesla and get the Highland vehicle when it actually comes out later. So that would be the only recommended type of buyer I would recommend for leasing a Tesla. If you're someone that needs a vehicle now and you are looking to get a Tesla Model 3 Highland in the near future. But of course, if you're looking for the best referral program, definitely check out the Tesla referral code, just like the one down below in the description, because if you use a Tesla referral code, you can get anywhere from $500 up to $1,000 off. And this also applies to Tesla as well. So definitely check out Tesla referral code down below in the description. And thank you to everybody that's used our Tesla referral code in the past and in the future. And definitely shout out to Evie Girl if you're interested in reading this exact post. But really only one type of buyer should be really interested in Tesla leasing, and that is only if you're looking to lease the vehicle, own it for a few years, and then get out of it in the near future. But we're going to jump into the next topic. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down below in the description is Patreon link. Support the channel and get access to the ultimate Tesla buying guide out there with all the best interest rates for financing your Tesla. So definitely check it out. Patreon link down below in the description. All right, let me figure out this mic thing because I'm supposed to be able to like tighten it so that it stays. Maybe it's like this. So I got this like new mic set up for traveling, but it's kind of this like awkward height where it's like this. And so I guess maybe it's not made for this type of upright verticalness. Maybe it's made for, but then if I do it this way, like sideways, it takes up way too much space. So I don't know, I'm confused on this one right here, but maybe we just need like a lower mic stand that like comes up to this height. I think that's what we need to do in the near future. Hope everybody is well. Hopefully you're doing, what is today, Monday? Happy Monday to everybody. I don't know. Base, thanks for coming in. Thanks for supporting. What else we got? What else we got? In our next quick topic, it seems like our favorite hacker, Green the Only, has released more information about Tesla Hardware 4.0 and has now discussed that the Hardware 4.0 computer infotainment system has been, in terms of the technology, has been scaled back drastically in compared to Hardware 3.0. So let's take a look at it. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, so definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. Shout out to Drive Tesla Canada. Tesla scales back hardware for computer in the Model Y. You can see the pictures from the left and the right from Green the Only. And it seems like Green the Only, as we actually have highlighted in the past, got his hands on both Hardware 4.0 and the Hardware 3.0 systems. You can see after getting his hands on the Hardware 4.0 camera, this time from a Model Y, Green discovered that the Tesla has downsized the RAM and storage capacity. The Hardware 4 computer in the Model Y had 8 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of storage, half of what is found in the previous generation Hardware 4 computer, 16 and 256. As Green points out, this all but eliminates the possibility of stream gaming coming to the Model Y, as it is appeared to at least require 16 gigabytes of RAM on the Model S and the Model X. Quote, one might speculate that Tesla's decision to reduce the Model Y hardware for capability stemmed from cost considerations. As Green pointed out, Tesla opted for cost-effective NVMe storage units in the AMD-based systems, which could potentially compromise longevity in the demanding and automotive environment. So the good news here is it doesn't look like the systems were compromised from terms of the autopilot computer, but it does look like they've basically nerfed it for the infotainment or entertainment section of the computer. So definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on it. Let me know if do you think this is going to affect the autopilot systems. It doesn't seem like it is, but definitely some pretty interesting stuff. All right, let's see what else we got. Base, thanks for coming in. Do you miss your 335 or any of your previous cars? Great question. Great previous cars. I miss the GTR. I miss the M3, the E92 M3 with the exhaust. I don't know if it was highlighting some of the videos. I actually had a couple Subarus, like STIs. I miss all those. I really miss all those vehicles that actually had like an engine noise to it. That's one thing that's kind of lacking with Teslas. There's really, I don't want to say lack of soul, but a little bit empty when you're driving them. But Tesla vehicles and all electric vehicles are fast. What are your thoughts on renting a Tesla Model Y on Turo? Is it worth it? So we've actually made a couple videos on that. Definitely check it out on the channel. Type in DennisCW Turo. And there's one video that's a little bit of a horror story, very interesting to watch. I basically had to repo my vehicle. So if you're interested in Turoing your vehicle, definitely go ahead and watch that video. Do you travel for personal? Travel for work? Hell, thanks for coming in. What about novated lease in Australia? Now, is it worth it? Great question. I actually don't know. What's a novated lease? I actually have not heard about that. In this next topic, we got some more Cybertruck spottings, and this one seems to be the most exciting because now it looks like it appears Tesla is starting to stack these Cybertruck vehicles, cover them up, and they may be potentially awaiting delivery. I don't know if it's going to be customer delivery or maybe even employee delivery, but the fact of the matter is they are starting to pile up in inventory, which is a good thing for us as we anticipate a delivery. So we're going to talk about it. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, so definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. Shout out to Gregor Truck. There are two Cybertrucks sitting on the outbound lot of Gigafactory, Texas. There was one this morning when Joe Tegmeyer flew a drone, and now a second one has appeared when Peter Dog flew a drone. You can see it right here and behind this truck. There's two vehicles that are actually covered. And what's exciting was this is the same type of setup that Tesla does. They start to pile up these vehicles, they cover them up. They did that with the Tesla Model Y pretty recently. And so this is pretty exciting because the question really is here, are these customer deliveries? Are these employee deliveries? One thing we know is there is going to be a delivery event in the near future, but we don't know if that's going to be September, which is already next month, or maybe even later this year. We've got another post right here that a third Cybertruck has actually been stacked up as well, even covered. So now we're getting super close to when this delivery event will actually be coming out. In terms of other Cybertruck news, there was this cool video that was spotted of a Tesla Cybertruck accelerating pretty quickly on the highway. Shout out to Tesla Raj and actually SE Johnson JR who actually posted this video, and it looks fantastic. I really can't wait to see this Cybertruck actually being delivered, and hopefully fingers crossed. I know a bunch of you out there might have a Cybertruck order, will be getting pretty excited to take delivery, so we can't wait to see when it actually comes out. But let me know what your thoughts on it. We're going to jump into the next topic, but before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down below in the description is the Patreon link. Support the channel and get access to the ultimate Tesla buying guide out there with all the best interest rates for financing your Tesla. So definitely check it out. Patreon link down below in the description. Yeah, I saw your video on the renting on the Model Y. Bad experience. Did you continue to get rentals after that time? So that was actually the last time we rented it. Felt like it wasn't worth it after that. So because it's like, what if the car got stolen or even damaged? So it really wasn't worth it after that. And what happens? I think I sold that Model Y pretty shortly after, and that's why we didn't continue the Turo renting after that. In this next topic, we're going to talk about a $4,000 incentive or tax credit hack on used Model 3s. It seems like there is a way, if you do not, the vehicle does not qualify, because there's one quick restriction on that Tesla $4,000 hack or $4,000 tax credit that you have to do. We'll talk about it. There might be a way to get around it. And on top of that, we'll talk about, is it even worth it to buy a Model 3 or Model 3 new one or a Model 3 used one, because the deals and incentives might be really close. So sometimes buying a new one with all the different incentives might actually make a lot of sense. We'll talk about it. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, so definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And so I posted this post the other day. The reason why is because, shout out to Paul Foss, he posted this article on Clean Technica talking about how breaking the Tesla Model 3 now qualifies for the used Tesla $4,000 used tax credit. So the couple of things that you have to be aware about: you have to be under a certain income limit, which is $75,000 for a single, and the price of the vehicle has to be under $25,000. And the third thing, which is kind of a weird restriction, but kind of makes sense. You have to buy the vehicle from a dealership. So private party sales do not count. So before we get into the actual hack, I posted this poll out there the other day. Which one would you actually pick? A used Model 3 with a $4,000 incentive or a brand new Model 3 with a $7,500 incentive? Because the question is, there actually is used Model 3s that are under 25,000, but they're usually 2018s, 2017s, or maybe even 2019s, and they've got high mileage on it, 80, 90, maybe even 100,000 miles on it. And so they are available from dealerships. Of course, you can negotiate with dealerships just like you can negotiate with private party sellers, but it seems like an overwhelming 75% of people actually said they would buy a new Model 3 because it comes with that 7,500 tax credit. But look at this, 4% actually said still debating, and 3% actually said neither. So here's a hack, because we all know we're going to get a better deal from buying used from private party and be negotiating with people because they have a little bit more flexibility. Dealerships usually have a buy-in price, and they have to sell it for a certain amount, and whether they bought that vehicle from auctions or things like that, they usually have a break even or how much they don't want to lose on a vehicle. But shout out to Paul Foss. He actually highlighted this in his article. This is a company called Key Savvy, where you can actually use this company as a in-between to buy the vehicle, or as maybe even act as a dealership. I've never been through the process directly, but it seems like this might be a cool workaround, or even a cool hack to be able to buy this vehicle or have the seller work with you and Key Savvy to work as an in-between, or maybe even an escrow to be able to buy the vehicle from Key Savvy, or the seller sells the vehicle to Key Savvy and then you buy the vehicle from Key Savvy, which would be quote unquote hopefully a dealership, and then you would be able to get that $4,000 used EV incentive. So this may be a good workaround. Definitely check out Key Savvy, or if you've worked with Key Savvy in the past, let me know what your thoughts and your experience. On top of that, the biggest thing though, between buying a new and buying a used one, is when you're buying a used one, especially a 2018 with 100,000 miles, I've always promoted a new one, especially if you're going to be paying what, $3, $4, $5, $6,000 difference between a used one and a new one, because of warranty. A new one's going to have 4 years of warranty and 50,000 miles. But shout out to this company that Paul also put me on as well. It's called Accelerate, which actually has electric vehicle warranties that you can buy from this company as well. So another one of these companies where I haven't really had experience directly, but it seems like pretty comprehensive in all the different things that they actually cover. So these are like the two toolboxes or things that you can do to get a best deal on a used Tesla if you have to go down that route. Because if I were to look at what cars.com and then look at all the used EVs out there, maybe even all the used Model 3s and sort by lowest, we've got some interesting deals out there, right? 22, 23, $24,000. And the biggest thing with me is I would attack used private party sellers first, and then just try and negotiate as much as possible down to $20,000, $18,000, maybe even less, and then use Key Savvy to try and get that $4,000 used EV incentive on top of that. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on it. We're going to jump into the next topic, but before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by our Patreon link. Down in the description is the Patreon link to support the channel. If you're looking for someone to ask some questions about buying a Tesla, selling a Tesla, or even financing a Tesla, that's where you can do that. My Patreon link down below in the description. You can sign up, send me chat messages, ask me any questions, or even schedule a phone call with me where we can go over your exact situation, customized buying plan to get you the best deal on a Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely check out Patreon link down below in the description. Oh, Tesla Australia seems to be gifting supercharger for 5,000 kilometers of supercharging if you pick a used Model 3. This had to be a sign that Highline is coming, right? That's interesting. So it looks like maybe Tesla Australia has got a used inventory Model 3 problem, so they need to try and push them out. Ming, thanks for coming in. Used Model X was tempting, especially the older ones for free supercharging, but the range back then was too short. Yeah, and also the build quality, the technology, all that stuff sucked back then. So I would really not recommend any Model X older than 2022. That's like the cutoff one where there was the newest refresh from that. All right, we got one last quick topic. In this next topic, we're all excited about the Tesla Cybertruck, but there was another spotting that's got me even more excited on the actual size of it because it seems like a Cybertruck was now spotted right next to the competition, and the competition was an Rivian R1T. So we'll take a look at it. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, so definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. Shout out to Tesla Tech Tube. Tesla Cybertruck spotted next to the R1T for size comparison. Of course, this is not the best angle or best screenshot, but you can see the Rivian is closer to us. The Cybertruck is in the further away. And so one would think this kind of makes it look like the Rivian truck is maybe bigger, but also at the same time, if we look at perspective and angles, I do think that the Cybertruck is going to be bigger than the Rivian R1T. At least the prototype was definitely bigger, but if it's the same size as a Rivian R1T, then I will be certainly happy, because the specs that I've heard in the past is that the Cybertruck is going to be Ford Raptor size, and the Ford Raptor is a massive truck. So if it comes in to be exactly the same or even similar size to the R1T, then that would be perfectly perfect. But let me know what your thoughts on it. Let me know what you're thinking. If you got a Cybertruck on order, let me know what your thoughts on what size you think it's going to actually be. But we're going to jump into the live stream comments. But before we do that, this video is sponsored by our Patreon link. Down in the description, Patreon link to support the channel, so definitely check it out if you're interested. All right. Thanks for supporting, guys. Thanks for jumping in. Definitely check out our Tesla discount codes down below in the description if you're looking for Tesla accessories like 3D Mats USA for our premium floor mat. Definitely check out our Tesla referral code down below in the description as well if you're looking to save an extra $500 to $1,000 off your Tesla. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for hitting the like button, and I'll see you